Yet another day out in the Cotswolds, and today I'm at Witney and we're just going to have a walk around and see what this town's all about. Well, I don't really know where I'm going, so it's all a bit of a hit and miss at the moment. I'm just going to be walking up this street. I don't even know what it's called, to be honest with you. But this is where we're going and we'll see how we get on today. 20-mile-an-hour speed limits around here. And, well, I don't think they're all keeping to those speed limits. Anyway, over this side we've got the Congregational Church. Well, I'm just heading up Welch Street. I don't know where I'm going, as I said, but I'm going to take this route. Is this where most people seem to be walking, in this direction? Like most towns in the Cotswolds, it's very quaint, and it's a Tuesday, so it's not very busy. I presume that they'll probably have a market day, which would probably be sometime midweek and on a Saturday, but we're not too sure as to when those are. I did arrive on the bus this morning. That came on the S1 service, which goes from Carterton to Oxford, but halfway along there is a place called Witney, and that's where I am now, so I thought I'd stop off and have a look around here. Looks quite nice. I'll turn you around anyway. This is the main street, or what they call Market Square, and it's situated right in the centre of the town. Now, the first pub you come to is the Ye Old Cross Keys. This is number 1 Market Square, and next to that is Waterstones. I do remember coming here before, but it was quite a few years ago now, and well, it hasn't changed at all. So I've just spotted something over on the left here that's called the Wall Gate, so I'm going to head towards that and we'll see what's up there. It looks like there's some bakers and butchers and various things like that. Witney local store, which is an off licence, and the Mountain Warehouse just on the corner. But anyway, I'm going to head up through here into the Wall Gate and we'll see how we get on there.
Good morning, madam. Good morning, sir.
Well, this is the Wall Gate. I don't really know what it is yet, but there looks like there's, by this board here, there's quite a few shops and various establishments. As with a lot of places in the Cotswolds, they do have, or keep to the same sort of brickwork that you'll see everywhere. And it's quite refreshing that they do this in certain places of the country. And this is no exception, because here it does look very traditional and beautiful and keeps up with the architecture everywhere else. Clinton's Cards, O2 Phone Shop, and on the left hand side we have Benson's for beds, and straight in front we have Waitrose. Now I think I'm probably heading out of this the Wall Gate now, as the time you can see on the clock is just gone 9. As you can see on the clock, the time is now 10:52, and it just looks like this is the end of the Wall Gate. So it wasn't really much spectacular here. It's Waitrose on the left hand side, and quite a large car park. And if you fancy a cup of coffee, you can always come to the Cool Beans coffee stall. Okay, I'm now heading out of the Wall Gate, and I'm going to turn left at the end and we'll see what goes on up there. I've already spotted a number of places where I can have something to eat later, and the one just further up from here on the right hand side is probably the one that I will be going to. and that's a fish and chip shop, because you've got to have fish and chips when you come away. So on the left hand side you have Coffee Number One and Gales, which looks like another sort of eatery or cafe place with lots of very nice cakes in there at 17 Market Square. You can't miss these two because they're right next to the Corn Exchange. So anyway, this was the fish and chip shop I was talking about earlier. I am going to go in there, but not just yet, it's still a bit early. But I'm just looking out there, and there is plenty of places to eat, and this is where I'll be coming back later. Now it's called Smart's Fish and Chips. It's eat-in, takeaway, and they do a delivery. And as I say, I will be popping in there later, so we'll see how we get on with that one. Fish and chips, you've got to have it. This is the bus stop that I'll be returning to Carterton from. It's the S1. Next one is going to be arriving in about 3 minutes, but I'm not getting on that because I've got about another 2 hours or 2 or 3 hours I'm going to be wandering around here. So looking at this, it's a clock tower up there, but it's very old indeed. Looking at those, it's going to have a little bit of a closer look. Now clearly some of the timbers have been replaced, but a lot of them are obviously original, and those stone pillars do look very aged indeed. The Company of Weavers across the road, which is obviously a pub. I think I've actually come to the end of the shopping area, and I'm now heading towards what looks like a very nice church. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet on this trip, but it's bitterly cold. Yeah, I'm sure I have mentioned it quite a few times. So as I say, I'm just walking up here to the church, and we'll have a look around. I don't know if we're going to go in, but we'll certainly have a look around and see. We'll certainly have a look around anyway. I think if it's a nice summer's day, then this would be a very nice place to come and just have a picnic or just sit out and relax. It looks very pleasant. If you want to come in by car, then it's quite easy to get here, but by the looks of it, there aren't very many parking spaces, and most of them are being occupied at the moment. Apart from the car park that I saw earlier, I don't know if there's any others. There probably is somewhere, but I haven't seen any. But anyway, onwards to the church, and we'll have a look around there. So this church is the St Mary's the Virgin, and it is right at the other end of Witney. Once you've gone through the shopping area, you go right to the other end. You can't seem to go much further. There is a road to the side, but it doesn't look like there's much further to go this end of the town. So it does say it's open, and we'll just go and have a look around. Now this graveyard obviously is very old, and looks like a lot of the stones, and you can't even read what they are on them because they're just so old. It's ancient, and a lot of them are just falling apart. It's a shame really, but obviously there's no one around nowadays to look after them for the relatives. They've all gone and died and gone themselves probably. Anyway, it says it's open. It says we are open, all are welcome, in the ancient house of the prayer. So we'll see what it's like.
And began to teach them. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and making her stand before all of them, they said to him, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of committing adultery."
Well, that was a bit different, wasn't it? I wasn't expecting to find that. Well, it's Ash Wednesday here in the UK, so that's why there was a service on at a particular time. So, Witney. Well, I keep calling it Whitby. So Witney is quite nice. I thought it was only polite that I asked if I could film in that church, and they were very happy to do so, for me to do so. They were actually filming the service themselves, and there was a guy sitting at the back with lots of camera equipment and various monitors, so it was something they're used to doing, I think, and most of the congregation in there were quite happy to be filmed, obviously. So let's head back into the town and see what else is going on. A few shops down this end that look absolutely abandoned or closed. It's always an estate agent somewhere. And sous shop, Oriental Foods. So just a small little shop that sells all Oriental foods. Should you be interested in coming to somewhere like this, these are the sort of prices that you would be thinking of paying. So they're not too bad, the prices for this type of area. Just across the road I've spotted somewhere where I came with my daughter once for something to eat, so I'm going to pop over there and have a look. This is the Como Lounge, or cafe bar. I have been here before, and these windows in the summer months actually slide open, so it's all like an open plan. It's very nice to be able to sit in there and have a meal, and from what I can remember it was very nice. So that's the Como Lounge Cafe and Bar. I won't be going in there today, it's a little bit more fancy than what I'm looking for. I just want something quite basic today, something like fish and chips. I hope he's just going on a routine journey, and doesn't it make you sick? These YouTubers get everywhere. So I've just come out of the fish and chip shop. I went in there just to have a look at the prices, but they're comparable to everywhere else. Not going to be a problem. And I'm just going to walk down here now. I don't know where this goes to, but we'll see when we get down there. I don't think there's going to be very much down here. It looks like there's a couple of coffee shops and things like that, and it just leads down to the car park where I went through the other little I think it just leads down to the car park where I was before. So just gone past Simpson's, the estate agents, and the hair studio called Evolve, and Avalon Rooms. I don't know what Avalon Rooms do. It looks like they do piercings, tattoos, body piercings, cosmetic tattoo-ness, all that sort of thing. Not my cup of tea, but I'm sure it is for a lot of people. Need some framing done, then come to Witney Framing. Very old place here. It is open. It's called the Clock Workshop. Stephen Fletcher, obviously he's the person who owns it, I would assume. It said it's established in 1910. So it looks like I am right. It's just leading back to the car park where I came down earlier. Okay, so we're going to give Smart's fish and chips a go, and let's see what happens in here. Hello there, could I have a large cod and chips?
Yeah, sure.
Sweet in?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm going there.
Yeah, can see.
Yeah, right. Do you want me to pay first? Yeah.
$60.50, please.
And could I have a receipt for that, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can sit you.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. Yeah, it all looks quite nice in here. The main thing is it's nice and warm. So we've got fish and chips at Smart's restaurant. So we'll see how we get on with this one. Chips look very nice, as you can see there. Got some mushy peas with that. Can't really have fish and chips without mushy peas. So the chips are very nice. What can I say, they're chips. Okay, well I just finished that fish and chips at the Smart's restaurant here in Witney. It was the only fish and chip shop I could find, so it's a little bit limited to giving other examples, but it was okay. I wouldn't say it was the best I've ever had. The chips were fine. They were obviously freshly cooked, as was the fish. The batter on the fish was nice and crisp. That was in its advantage to that. But the actual fish itself wasn't very much of it. It was probably only about half an inch thick. It wasn't very flaky. It probably was frozen fish. I don't know how old that was, but I would say overall I would give it probably about a 7 out of 10. Considering how much I paid for this, which was £16.50 to sit down, I think the fish was around about £10 takeaway plus the chips. So I had fish, chips and mushy peas, and that came to £16.50. Which I suppose is not too bad. It's probably a little bit on the expensive side for most places, but yeah, it was overall it was enjoyable enough. Okay, I've had to do this all again because I didn't put the camera on. So that's Smart's restaurant here in Witney. I just had fish and chips with some mushy peas. The chips were very nice. The fish wasn't too bad. It was very crispy, but it was only probably about half an inch thick. So there wasn't that much of it. It didn't look too bad on the plate though, and the mushy peas, well, they were mushy peas. Same sort of thing you'd probably get out of any tin from anywhere else. So overall, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. And that's mainly because the fish wasn't quite up to it. And for the price of, excuse me, £16.50, I thought it was probably quite expensive. For a market town like this, and there wasn't any other alternative to get fish and chips, then it probably wasn't too bad. Okay, so it's stating that there's 6 minutes to the bus comes to Carterton, so I think I'll get back on that one. I think I've covered most places in Witney now, and I'm just going to go back on the bus. So it's the S1 back to Carterton in 6 minutes.